Anyways,
this literally gotta get cut out. You
Yeah.
yeah,
say
no,
that. Can't say that.
reset. 2016.
We literally need to start. Literally need to start the whole episode over, I think.
All right, dudes. Welcome back. Episode 2. Yeah, we would have thought we made it this far. We're consistent. Another Monday in the books here.
Sticky Bottle Podcast, baby.
Sticky Bottle Podcast. And shout out to the 38 people that listened to our last episode. And fun fact, the Buzzsprout website is estimating, it says, we forecast your next episode will receive 0 downloads. So we don't have a ton to live up to here. But hopefully our new guest, Zach, can bring some new light to this show.
Yeah, so on the show today, we got Peter, Eric, Matt, and Zach. So Zach, why don't you you get to do a little brief, who am I and why the hell am I here?
How many years you been on the team?
Yeah. Favorite ice cream flavor.
Okay.
Favorite ice cream flavor.
I'll get to that. Yeah, so my name's Zach Gregg. This is my 3rd season on Project Echelon. Basket coach. They call me the keg. So now that we've been through some roster changes, if I see the keg sucks signs, that would actually be sweet. Do that, please.
What if we make them?
Yeah. I feel like I have one stuck to my back all the time when I'm around you guys.
Pretty much.
But yeah, favorite ice cream flavor is chocolate chip cookie dough. Mint chocolate chip close second.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, those are 2 banger flavors. So how's everyone's weekend?
It's good. It was this is the first weekend of the Echelon Racing League. And I mean, we were all kind of, last episode, I think we were just talking about like, man, I hope I make it through the first 5 laps.
Which I did it.
which Matt didn't, but damn, it was fun. It was really fun. It was the Alabama Cycling Classic, and Zach Nair, our secret weapon, took second, and
our
Peter,
e-specialist.
He was a weapon.
Peter and Zach gave him a sick little lead out at the end, as good of a lead out as you can give in esports, and it was super fun. I mean, even more fun though is, and I think we said this on the last episode, is just like the banter we have on Discord, just chatting back and forth with each other.
Oh yeah, it's the only reason I do it.
Yeah. And I had all of my electronics break 10 minutes before the start in the start pen. And so I had to race off of my phone with my I didn't have my glasses on, no contacts, nothing. And I don't have a big phone. And so I set a new FTP, guys.
You needed a sticky bottle is what you're saying.
I needed a sticky bottle. I needed a break. Juice box. It was hard. Yeah. Seeing those guys like sprint after doing however many watts for that long is just crazy to me. Super impressive.
RGT keeps getting better too. Like the racing experience is always improving. I think the dynamic, it was a 4-corner crit, which last year would have been extremely challenging for newcomers to RGT simply because of the coasting and the accelerations, but the algorithm's getting a lot better, and I think it's going to be super accessible and more engaging for racers new this season. It was fun to see existing racers that we had raced against last year in the league, but I think the new faces are going to have a much more friendly introduction to the new platform compared to.
You know who I'm pumped to join us next weekend is Butcher Box is jumping into the Echelon Racing.
Oh,
yeah.
Competing for the rest of the season. And I think it's just gonna be super fun to connect with them like outside of the traditional racing scene.
I think that's the best thing about the e-racing is when you know the guys you're racing against, it makes it like a little more competitive, but like in like a fun, like this is ridiculous way because it's so hard.
Yeah. So I'm stoked to see them on the screen. That's gonna be fun.
Yeah. So what's the next event we got coming up here?
IU Health Momentum Indy. So
27th of the month is Sunday.
Yep. You can just sign up on Bike Reg, right? It's free.
Yep. Yeah.
Perfect.
Should be good.
And then are we doing any community rides before that?
If you just go to the Echelon Racing League website, you can see
26th is the community ride.
Little plug for the league.
There you go. All right. Enough about bikes though. Like, what did you guys what'd you guys do off? I mean, I sat in a hockey rink and froze my ass off and watched my little guys skate around and just deck each other because they don't know how to stop yet. So that was kind of my weekend.
We hosted Friendsgiving for the first time in our new house, first event. So it was fun seeing, of course, some friends that we hadn't seen in a while because they had kids this year. And so, they had kids early spring, kind of dropped off, didn't see them for a while. So great to connect with them, but also entertaining for the first time in a new house was extra special. And it came together well. I think Maddie and I were kind of panicking a little bit about decluttering. Decluttering, but I mean, you can't see because we're on a podcast here, but we've got 20 nutcrackers on the mantle and another 2 million ornaments on the tree. And
she let you keep your mustache for the holidays even.
I had to trim it. Took a little bit of little hedge trimming.
Just for men, touch of gray.
Just for men, touch of gray, a little cedarwood oil, and a fresh pair of scissors. So,
As he takes a sip of his whiskey.
Yeah, what's everybody's drink of choice tonight?
Wild Turkey 101, the rye. I made a apple brandy martini. Apple brandy Manhattan yesterday. Apple brandy Manhattan yesterday is my host cocktail. And I read on Eric's recent purchase of Wild Turkey 101 inspired me to do the same for my hosted cocktail.
I don't know what my wife is trying to accomplish, but she brought home,
we know what she's trying to accomplish.
We figured it out.
She brought home a liter of Wild Turkey, 12-pack of porter beers, and an entire sampler case of wine for the entire month of December.
Nice.
I'm not going to make it.
Will she drink any of it?
I hope so. I'm not. Yeah.
Is CW having his Christmas party? Because then I'll come up.
Oh man, yeah. The OG Project Echelon crew. They knew how to throw a party. That's something we gotta pick up the slack on, guys. We gotta
oh, don't worry. I spent all weekend practicing my baking for my Friendsgiving on actual Thanksgiving. And now everybody's
did you wear an apron? Please tell me you wore an apron.
Duh, I'm not getting my shirt dirty. I'm actually such a wine mom at heart, y'all. Like, I had my neighbors over. I like taught them how to bake some stuff, and then I like screwed everything else up. So I have to do it again. It was great. Yeah.
I did nothing cool. I just like spent 8 hours at the bar watching football after riding. Still in off-season mode a little bit.
Yeah. What are you drinking, Matt?
Oh, so we have a soda stream, to make your own like bubbly water. Yeah. And then you can buy concentrated kombucha mix, like in like a little jug. So it's like super concentrated. So you just add like 2 tablespoons and I made myself a kombucha.
Sweet.
I'm not healthy. This is just like, it sounded good and it's been sitting in the fridge for a month. So I figured I better crack this thing open. I probably get a little more roasted than you guys on this. Who knows how long it's been in there.
I was hoping you were going to say you had the tonic, like the tonic concentrate, make yourself a gin and tonic.
Oh yeah. That would have been way more pro.
Those are fire.
Yeah. So I think tonight's topic, we're gonna go way back to the beginning of Project Echelon when I don't think any of us were here except young E. Hill.
Yeah.
The Pheasants Forever. You guys had the ugliest kid on earth. The worst kid I've ever seen.
It was for the first like 3 years of the.
You guys were all colorblind, right?
I mean, yeah, I really don't know. I really don't know. But that was the hardest part, to get guys like Matt on the team. He's like, so are we changing the kit? Because if we're not, I'm not coming over.
No way.
I can't be seen in that. In that. But sometimes you just got to make a statement. And
when did the team start? What was the first year?
2016. Yeah.
And it's just 5 of you guys, club team?
I think there was there was 7 of us. And I think we picked out, 5 national level races. I think Redlands, Joe Martin stage race.
Oh, I remember Joe Martin. You guys got your asses waxed so bad.
Dude, I will never forget where literally the entire team was sitting in the ditch and my ass went through one of our teammates' bike, like through the triangle.
Oh
And
my gosh.
I just broke his down tube in half.
Oh,
And
no.
the other teammate was like scrambling to pick up all of his all of his stuff. He had young kid. He put all of his goos in like one of those squeeze bottle goo things.
Yeah, that's a
And
mistake.
like went to go run and pick it up, and from the middle of the road, and the Shimano car drove right over it and
Ooh.
exploded it. He had no food for like the rest of the 60-mile ride to the finish line.
I remember
Mhm.
sitting at the finish, like we're all telling our war stories or whatever. And like 15 minutes later, here comes the whole Project Echelon team across the line. I was like, I knew like some of you guys just from like racing locally. And I'm like, oh man, like it wasn't even funny. You just like feel bad. You're like, uh-oh,
Yeah.
something happened if they all were back there.
Yeah. So I mean, you got to start somewhere. And
Yeah.
we started from humble beginnings, that's for sure. In a 2004 Ford E-Series van that was wrapped
Down by the
in-
river.
wrapped
the
in-
shag wagon.
I mean, dude, Mike Friedman thought it was the absolute coolest thing in the world, though. That guy would just come over to talk and like hang out in the van because he loved the van. He's like, can
I got
buy
a good
this
van
guys?"
story.
Give
When
it.
we were at what's the race on the backside of Mount Lemon? The super early road race, like Catalina something.
Oracle.
Mhm.
Yeah, the Oracle road race. I remember sitting in the van with a couple teammates, and this kid walks by and he didn't know we were in there. And he goes, check out that pro ass van, like being all sarcastic. And it was the funniest thing I've ever heard. I'm like, oh man, we just got roasted, and he's totally right. This thing sucks.
yeah,
The gas tank fell off at camp.
yeah.
We hit a
yeah,
bump and the tank fell off. Zach Nair
you-
like rallied it over a speed bump.
You remember you and I had to go to Ace Hardware and purchase a whole
Yeah.
bunch of like hose clamps to clamp it back up. And then like
Yep.
not even 5 months later, Tim Sabre's filling the gas tank up, and he's like, I don't know why, but the gas meter is not going up. And he looks under, and literally it's coming out as fast as it's going in. And there's this big
Oh,
old
God.
hole. So I ran to Walmart and I bought a Flex Seal patch and just stuck that on there. Thing
Ooh,
held for half a year. It was awesome.
that's
Yeah,
wild.
so from that crappy van to a US pro cycling team next year.
Yeah, little by little we just scrapped, and we made our way here. And I mean, you guys,
We traded into the Acura,
The Acura
a high performance sports SUV.
with 210,000 miles on it. That thing's a beast, actually.
It is a
Ethan,
beast.
Ethan just driving it like
The Zaddy wagon.
the Zaddy wagon, just full tilt.
Oh yeah, and then
Golden Arches
Giordini,
Supper Club in the corner.
Giordini drove at about 95 miles an hour to camp and said that they had a headwind the whole way.
Mhm.
And this is before Tyler spoke, and he's just standing behind Jordan, like shaking his head. He's like, no.
Before Tyler spoke. What do we get the serial killer on this pod?
Oh man, we're gonna need like a public outcry. There's no way he'd get on here voluntarily.
we'll get him here.
No.
We'll get him here.
Peter, what was your first impression of Project Echelon before you were on the team? Do you even remember?
And when I think about it,
I know he'd have a good
it's-
answer.
It's conjumbled with my first impression of Eric Hill.
Oh no.
Wow.
Yes, let's hear it. I need to go get a beer.
So let me tell you a little story. 2014 Grand Performance. It was Matt and I on Grand Performance 2014. The Lacrosse Omnium. We had some OG legends that these people won't even ever know, like Chris Yoder, dude, straight legend, bro.
That guy is a legend.
The guy used to not eat for like 72 hours and then go ride his bike 100 miles because of the gains, right? OG. And so we're at the Lacrosse Omnium, Lacrosse road race, and Chris Yoder somehow gets up the road with, I think it was Colin Catlin, and there's attack after attack, and Eric finally throws down this pretty solid attack, and I cover it, and this is like, what, a mile and a half out, 2 miles out, and I just sit on Eric, and Eric's trying to get me to pull through, and I was like, teammate up the road, and Eric's like, come on, pull through, and I'm like, no, teammate up the road. And then of course I just dunked on him at the line.
He did.
And Eric's like, chick, move, as I like blow his doors off coming by him. And after the race, Eric's like, the pros wouldn't handle that. The pros wouldn't tolerate that. And I'm like, what do you know about pro cycling, bro? And so anyways, that was my first impression of Eric about, some middle-aged white dude from Wisconsin with his ear pierced and
still pierced.
still pierced and
Proud of it.
yeah.
Playing
But
tech techs in that little sketchy van after the race.
yeah. No, but that was just like my first impression of Eric. And and obviously I didn't know him, so I didn't actually have a solid knowledge of Eric. And then I was gone for a year, and then I came back, and Project Echelon started. And who was it? Tim, and then who else was on that team the first
Evan.
year?
Man, it was no, Evan wasn't here yet. It was
No.
Tim, Marco Wada,
Yeah.
myself, Max Anderson,
Mm-hmm.
Brian Caker,
Mm-hmm. It was
Steve
all the
Wagstaff,
LAPT.
Chris Arndt, Stephen Wagstaff,
Ghosty.
and Brian Rock.
Yeah, so it was like the old LAPT team.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I'm like, oh, Eric's still like in my mind, without knowing Eric and being presumptuous as a egotistical young cyclist you are, is like, oh,
No way.
trying to start a hot shots, trying to start a team, blah 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 blah. We'll show them. And Eric started the team with under the banner of the Project Echelon organization, which of course he and Eric Beach started. And it wasn't until just 2016 when I had more proximity and actually talked to Eric at races and talked to other people on the team that I realized that, hey, these are a good group of guys, and they're not just trying to. I don't know.
Did Eric approach you?
The first time we had serious conversations about joining the team was Memorial Weekend 2018, I think, because I had guest rode with the guys at Redlands, and Eric knew that the Bora Factory racing team I was running at the time was impossible for them to beat, was losing some of its roster. Brandon Krawczyk was leaving, Jameson was moving, and basically my team was kind of falling apart. It was just John and I was looking for continuing options, and it was going to be a good fit. So Memorial Weekend 2018 is when Eric and I started talking about the 2019 season when I joined the team.
Yeah, so then I would have joined the same season as you, right? Yeah, 2019.
Yeah, because the year 2018 when I guest rode was when we had Lionel at Redlands and Corey, and we could have won the thing, but people didn't know how to sell out for their teammates, and we got second.
That can be its own episode. It'll be the teammates who don't sell out episode.
The teammates that don't sell out episode. There we go.
But
I guess
really
go ahead.
I was gonna say, really, I mean, the team really truly was built on Midwest foundations. I mean, Peter and John came from the Bora Factory Racing team. Evan, Zimmer, Tim, you guys came from Credite Velo. And then a bunch of guys that we picked up over time have come from Gateway. So like that really is a huge part of kind of the heart and soul of our program. And then once we got to a place where, all right, we were consistently showing up at the races that mattered, and showing that we could race as a team, it really gave us the opportunity to kind of spread our wings a little bit more and go after guys like Zach and Vogel. And it's been really fun the last 3 years to kind of truly manage a team and put together a roster and figure out
that's what I liked. Yeah, that's what I looked forward to, being like, you started messaging me when I was on Gateway in 2018, right? Yeah, 2018. And I'm in Belgium, and I specifically remember like the first text you sent me. I was like, oh, like this is strange. And I'm like, no way. Like, it's not the big flashy thing you hope for. Like, I don't know. But then you were super transparent about everything, about where you wanted to take the team, goals, like exactly what you wanted to have happen, which is like pretty uncommon in cycling. Usually it's a lot of empty promises that are big promises that never get fulfilled. So, I mean, that's like the reason I hopped on. And then, 2019 was killer. And then 2020 was even better. We brought on the keg. So, yeah, yeah, the keg's got some stories. His is
Oh man, that's
he
what
might have the best story.
Yeah, the funny thing is Eric was saying that he like brought me on. No, like Matt Zimmer like brute forced this, like full elbow grease, like boot to my forehead, like just push me through the threshold onto the team.
It was like this. It was like this time too of the year, right? Like every rosters were finalized. Like it was way late, wasn't it?
Yeah,
It
yeah,
probably
yeah.
was even
So-
later than this.
It was
No,
like-
so basically what happened was I was a big fan of the Zimmer vlogs. And we had like a bunch of mutual friends. Like he's good friends with my brother-in-law. And at my sister and brother-in-law's wedding, we were dancing and he was like, "What are you doing next year?" And I was
It was like 2:30 a.m. at that bar
Yeah.
that's like 10 stories tall in Roanoke, whatever
Yeah.
that place is called.
That place was outrageous. And
Yeah.
yeah, he kept making passes and like slapping my ass and like whispering in my ear. And I was like,
No,
oh, this is probably
no.
going well. But so yeah. And then he calls Eric and he's like, "Hey man, this guy should be on the team." And it's 3 a.m. And Eric's like,
He answered.
yeah, he answered.
I think you're dead.
Yeah.
Almost. No, that was the next morning.
And yeah, so he's like, "You should get the guy on the team." And I was like, "Wow, this is amazing. Pro cycling is so easy." And then we like wait 2 days and Eric's like, "No, man, we don't have any space." And so I like had moved on. And then Zimmer sent me a text like, "Yeah, this time 2 months later or whatever." And it's like, "Hey man, we have a spot because this guy's taking a step back. Like, do you want it?" And I was like, "Yes," but I had like already committed to another team of like this kind of same level. And he was like, "Don't worry about it, man. We got this new director who's like a total ace. He's gonna like sort everything out for you."
Yeah. Yeah.
What
Ooh.
ensued was like the most stressful 72 hours of like nonsense that basically
Contract
ended in,
breaching.
but yeah, it ended up working out super well. And like yeah, really happy that it was like 72 hours of pain. And I had some people who gave me kind of dirty looks for a year or two, but now we're all good. You know, it worked out in the end.
It didn't help you had like a banger start to the season. Zach's like 3-0 with GC stage races.
Yeah, that was the like oh yeah, we had a same coach and everything, and like yeah, showed up to team camp and everybody's like, "Cool, who the fuck are you?" And they said it in like the nicest way possible. But yeah, doing Southern Highlands and like having a really good ride, I think cemented everything as like, maybe this guy can race his bike. And from there, yeah, now I just make more and more ridiculous mistakes. And
Wasn't it you
it's been
and
nice.
that race was basically between you and Magnus Sheffield, if I remember right, wasn't it?
Yeah, and Riccatello.
And you smoked
but
them both. It was great.
I did.
Yeah, you should be on Ineos.
Wait, so Zach, you just said that you had imposter syndrome at team camp. Is that what I heard?
Oh, that's gonna be a t-shirt being made too. Imposter syndrome.
I think I still have imposter syndrome, y'all. Like no, I'm so #blessed to be in this position to just be like a perennial shit show and like have a couple good races so they keep me around.
What was your
Before
first
the se-
impression at camp of Matt and I? I mean, you knew Matt a little bit, but like, what were some of your first impressions that jump out at you of riders on the team?
No, man, I think everybody was like super committed to like being welcoming and friendly and stuff, but it's like
Our team's good at that.
yeah, man, I was like a cat 2 for 2/3 of the previous season. Like, it was almost a mistake that I was even there. So like the fact that people were like friendly and like, you know, wanted to learn about me and stuff was super cool, you know. And I think we like have done a good job of like maintaining that culture in a lot of ways, which is something super important.
yeah.
Like, yeah,
Think about all the guest riders we've had in the last couple of years. You know, our team we always try to find some sort of like, you know, up and coming guest rider that, you know, take them to Green Mountain or wherever we go. And every time it's over, we're like, "Hey man, like, you were super awesome. Like, we'd love to have you, but it's not our decision. So like, we'll see what happens."
Mhm.
Like, we've never had like, "Oh, that guy sucked." Usually it's like, "Oh man, if he doesn't make it, I'm gonna feel really bad because he's a super nice guy or like great kid." So like, it's our team's good at like including everyone in that.
I mean, hands down, I think the reason our team works is because everybody is so respectful and
Oh, yeah.
like, I mean, it's just not an environment you get in every program you go to, regardless of the sport, not just cycling. I mean, look at track or cross country or football or basketball, like whatever. There's always very seldomly not a team where you just don't have that tension, and we've been lucky.
Culture's important.
Yeah, we've been lucky enough to not have that, and I think there's been certain times where I've like passed up really talented riders, and
Mhm.
it wasn't because I didn't think that they were talented enough. It's just I didn't think it was the right fit, and it's nothing against them. There's just a personality difference, and that's totally fine. I respect that, and I wish them luck. But like the success that we've had over the last 3 seasons is because of the group of people that are together and their willingness to work together.
Yeah.
It always
I don't know if-
reminds me. Oh, go ahead, Zach.
Oh, I don't know if you guys ever seen Redeem Team on Netflix. It's where basically Shikshevsky is trying to win the Olympic gold with a bunch of superstars. But in its own like cool way, I feel like team chemistry is built from like respecting everybody's investment, but also having something that's associated with the team that's bigger than the individual. You know what I mean? And like, yeah, it's just so cool to be associated with military veterans and like not only like their sacrifice, but you also respect like the contribution that everybody makes of their own time, you know, on top of all working full time, so that you really just enjoy the time you get to spend together. And it's like it feels like a fucking vacation with a bike
The
race
off season
attached to
sucks.
it. Yeah.
Off season's terrible. Thank God we like hang out on RGT and Discord, shoot the shit for like 3 hours every day.
Well, the thing that I've come to appreciate is the fact that we're all at this relatively, I'll say, mature, for lack of a better term, point in our careers where, yeah,
Suave.
where no one really has these selfish, subconsciously ulterior motives. Like when I think about like what else do I want to accomplish in cycling, there's nothing like that's on my checklist outside of like
Yeah, same.
a contribution standpoint. Like being able to work as a team to win Redlands is way more
That was the best.
enjoyable than any personal gain, because I've done that. Like I've checked all my boxes. Like I've done what I've wanted to in the sport for the most part, but it's these new experiences that are elevated that I can't do by myself, that a team has to come together for, which is way more exciting. And like I said, like it doesn't matter if you're at the Tour of St. Louis, which is a regional race, or a national level race like Redlands, when you literally are willing to like put your race on the line 10 out of 10 times for something above yourself, it's better. And that's why riders don't work out on, like, it's so rare to come by like teams like ours, where we can have like all seven guys in the race that are willing to bury themselves.
Isaiah,
It's like-
actually, we're like, building this year's roster, and Isaiah looked and he's like, it's gonna be hard to get some of these guys to just raise their hand and say, I'm the out and out leader for this, right? Just because
Mhm.
everybody is like in that kind of altruistic state of wanting the team to be
Yeah,
successful
year-
as possible. Like, and so I mean, there's times where we just have to look at you and just be like, you're the leader today, whether you like it or not. That's your job.
the roster we took last year to Joe Martin, half the team had won a stage at least at one point. So I'm like, okay, we have 3 people who've won this one single stage alone going into the base of that climb together. So like, it's
Mhm.
important. And I think the big thing to remember is everyone's here because they want to be here on the team. No one's like, I should be somewhere else. I'm going to like use this as a stepping stone. Most people are here because they genuinely want to be here.
No, man, we're like pushing certain people out the door. We're like, you got to go, man. Like, go up. Go
Yeah.
somewhere better. Stop hanging
Yeah,
out
exactly.
with these old people. Stop
call me-
listening to our jokes.
Don't
Like,
call me old. Don't call me old.
I'm old.
That was on our last. Did we talk about that last episode? How our average age is like 30.
Yeah.
Doesn't help when Vogel is both like the most athletic like freak of all time and just like old.
Dude, he's a legit freak. Can we get him on RGT? Can that dude even ride a trainer? Just break
Yeah,
it.
he just breaks it though. Yeah. Melts the internals. He did it twice. We had to get him new parts for his SARS H3 twice.
That's commendable. I like that.
Yeah.
Eric, you want to give us our sponsorship plug real quick here for
Yeah.
Brioso?
I just finished my last sip of Irish espresso, which was that Wild Turkey 101 with a little bit of espresso in there. It was very good. I was drinking espresso decaf from Brioso, which has
Oh, yeah.
been the absolute move if you're a coffee lover and can drink coffee any time of the day. So if you'd like to get your own Brioso roast, you can go to brioso.com and use all caps Echelon for a 10% discount. And there's a special roast that Peter made called the Leadout. So Peter came up with the tasting notes for that, and it's been a hot seller. So check out the Leadout roast on.
Yeah, Peter, what are
brioso.com.
the tasting notes, Mr. Sommelier?
So the Brioso Leadout is a blend of two coffees. We've got the Mexican, the a washed harvest blend from Mexico, as well as a washed Brazil bean, and it's creamy, buttery, milk chocolate, and notes of tobacco. Those are the
Interesting.
tasting notes. Yeah. And
job, Peter.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
I couldn't have come up with that.
I feel like he just like wrote a bunch of shit on pieces of paper and put it in a bowl and pulled it out. He's like, tobacco, get tobacco in there, and like pulled
Yeah.
out the
It's
next one.
good.
It's like butter.
It is good.
I will say my favorite use for Brioso has been milk drinks. I think that Brioso does a really good job with like really bright
The floral flavors and all
floral
that
flavors.
they do.
Yeah. And like they'll take a origin like Ethiopia, which typically is pretty earthy, and they have a really bright profile, so it really cuts through milk drinks. So if you like cappuccinos or lattes, like that by far is my best application for Brioso coffee, in my opinion. So
Yeah, you think we geek out about bike stuff? You should see our Slack coffee channel. It's locked though. You have to be invited to it, but we're all in it.
Yep.
Talk about
we are.
espresso, all the ridiculousness involved with that.
No, and
It's
I'd
pretty
second
dorky.
that. Like, yeah, Brioso, anything light roast by them is like fantastic. So
Have you guys gotten
Guatemala,
the lighter
Ethiopia.
roast?
Lighter?
Lighter, they make a lighter roast. That's my
No,
favorite.
but I want it.
That's
Oh,
what it's called. Lighter roast.
yeah, it's a lighter roast. They sent me. I should go get the bags. They sent me 2 last time, and they were both lighter roasts. They were fire.
All right.
I got lit. Nice cortado in the morning, and I just can't drive anywhere.
yeah, yeah, it's the most recent Ethiopia that they've got out there right now has been that's been awesome. It's a little more mellow. It's not as bright as some of the others, but it's been really, really good as an Americano.
That's the one with hibiscus, rose, strawberry, gummy bear.
Yeah, it sounds.
We got to record these in the morning. I can't handle this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's making me. The decaf is though the win, man. Like especially like come race time when you're like, I really want dessert, but you know you probably shouldn't eat dessert or you get called the keg. That's when you go for the decaf like cortado at night.
Yeah, the keg eats
good.
dessert.
Yeah, I eat dessert too. We all do. Peter's Mr. Sweet Cream.
He is.
That's his stage name and his ice cream name.
I
All
did.
right.
The top of my Christmas list is the Ninja Creamy, the Ninja Creamy ice cream maker. And if you're my mother-in-law or father-in-law and you're listening to this, show me how much you love me.
Peter, do you still sit down with a magazine and like circle what you want? I can totally see you doing that. Like,
Yeah, it's the
Toys
Dairy
R-
Queen.
he
Dairy
gets
How
Queen
else does
magazine.
Santa know? Yeah.
The Costco. It's the Costco catalog, and
It's just the food court.
just the food court, the glizzies.
So I got one more question before we wrap this up. Eric, what is the Project Echelon 5-year plan?
Oh,
Can
man.
you summarize it in like 3 sentences?
Will we all be there?
No.
Will you-
That's when we have the wife episode
Yeah,
where
the answer is no.
wives tell all.
The 5-year plan is well, let me start with this. Our commitment will always be to racing in the United States and growing the sport here in the US and in North America.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe that a strong portion of that is taking an American-based team and going and racing internationally as well, and then bringing that talent and those experiences back to the US. So this year we're expanding our international calendar. I see that continuing to happen to some extent. And then eventually, rather than continuing to grow the international calendar, just grow the level of events that we're doing when we are racing internationally.
Mhm.
And then, like I said, always bringing that talent and that experience and those storylines back to the US to build excitement here. But the ability for people in the US who watch the GCNs or, Flow Sports or Peacock or whatever the streaming service is, seeing you racing against those European teams everybody knows and loves, and then they get to see it here in the States, that builds excitement and a following. So there's that. And then really to just grow the true professionalism of the team, to get to a point where guys are paid professional salaries and
Mhm.
can make,
I would like
yeah,
$5,000.
5,000 US
No,
dollars.
I mean, you guys know that I'm committed to like making
yeah.
this sustainable
Oh yeah,
for
I mean, come on, how often do we bug you?
never,
frequently.
never.
I called him the other day. He's like, "What do you want?" I'm like, "I don't know. I forgot I was gonna ask. What are you doing?"
Yeah.
We just like, it's like I just talked to you.
Right.
It's like, all right, see ya.
But I mean, there's so much that we can do with this organization and with the team.
Mhm.
And once we find the right partners, to truly grow this into something that, is a business and provide services and also races, the largest races in the world, and is a marketing asset to the businesses we work with. That's the goal. That's the 5-year vision.
Plus, how many veterans do we serve currently?
Yeah, so we're gonna hit over 500 this year. So
Wow.
that's, yeah, it's absolutely incredible what a crew of 13 guys is able to do, and we all have a little bit of skin in the game and take ownership of things, and kind of iterate what our model looks like and how we provide those services. So
And it all started with 7 dudes in a sketchy van with a really bad kit. 0 to hero.
and in year 1 we helped 12 veterans. So
Yeah, it's
I mean,
impressive.
it's absolutely incredible. You guys are a huge part of it.
Yeah, thanks. So I guess we'll end this episode here. Thanks, guys. We'll chat next Monday.
Sweet.